What's up, you guys? This is Devin from Central Effects Studios, and we're back with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about RAW versus JPEG once again. And for those who don't know, RAW is an uncompressed file format. It gives you all the information of your picture and none of the boosted colors, saturation, and sharpness that your camera likes to do inside the camera. It's a media file. It's almost 3 times bigger. Sometimes it is 3 times or more bigger, depending on, how much information you have there. With all that being said, that is what a RAW file is. It's raw ingredients for you to add the flavor in post. Now, with that being said, we have a JPEG. Now, the JPEG is a processed image. It's more like going to McDonald's and getting a meal that's processed with all the preservatives and all the additives, and none of it being raw. It's all processed. Everything has something in it, like salt and fats and all the little stuff that people want to enhance it and make it good to their standards. So by the time you get it, it's already had that stuff in it. You have no leeway or say without kind of damaging what they've already done. That's kind of what a JPEG is, really, guys. It's a processed image. The camera has already baked it and already cooked it for you. So by the time you get it, it should be remotely presentable, right? Well, we're going to get into that, and we're going to show you guys exactly what the differences are between RAW and JPEG. And as you can see here, we have a client that we took a picture of here, and it looks like he has some very colorful clothes on, very contrasty, and it's a close-up, a headshot of sorts, and we took this with a macro lens. So what we're going to do to explain RAW versus JPEG here is we're going to take 6 images. We have 3 that are RAW and 3 that are JPEGs. One of each are going to be 3 stops underexposed. One of each is going to be evenly exposed, and then one of each is going to be 3 stops overexposed. The first 2 images, we went with the 3 stops under. So the 3 stops under, so this is essentially going from left to right on the exposure meter for Canons. So with 3 stops underexposed, we have the JPEG and stuff like that. Excuse me. We're going to start with the RAW 3 stops underexposed, and as you can see already, guys, both of these images are pretty dark. I really like the JPEG rendition of this more so than I like the RAW rendition of this. The RAW kind of looks a little bit pudgier. It has that kind of goldenish cast over it, even though it's 3 stops under. It has a goldenish cast. So as I try to raise the exposure here, you can see that golden cast getting very punchy in the skin tones of our client here, and it's actually clearing up quite well here. Yeah, there we go. It's clearing up quite well here, and it seems to be working out pretty good for our client here. We seem to be getting the cast off of his face and clearing the image up quite well. The only thing I'm starting to not like is the amount of noise that I'm getting in the blacks in the background. I seem to have really brought this picture back from the depths, even though it was underexposed here. I seem to be able to get at least the subject in nice, suitable color ranges. It seems like when I'm dipping down in my blacks that I'm getting noise around the hair and all this other stuff, and the blacks are not trying to give me as much leeway as I want them to. But with that being said, this is not a bad showing for something that was underexposed by 3 stops. So with that being said, we're going to keep working on this and see if we can polish it up. But, underexposing it is not the end of the world if you take the picture in RAW. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the JPEG. And the JPEG is looking like crap. Now that we've remastered the RAW file of this image, the JPEG kind of looks like it's in like this 80s. It looks like it's filmy-ish, kind of. It has like this antique look to it. It has definitely that golden cast to it, but it also has like this reddish cast to it almost like saturation was definitely added to this image in camera. And it's really ruining my skin colors to the point where I don't even think I can get it back. All this redness is coming from noise and a combination of saturation that's coming from in-camera settings. And it really already makes me mad. And as we look at the JPEG versus the RAW here, with bringing it back from 3 stops, it looks bad. It looks bad. It's not as bad as it can be. I know it can be worse, but that reddish undertone, when you know you can get something better, it's definitely desires more. Your eyes are very sensitive, and the littlest thing like this can make a big difference in your photos. So with that being said, let's move on to the even exposed images. The exposed images that came out exactly the way they were intended to come out based off of the camera's measurements. All right, so the evenly exposed images, which is interesting here, the raw image was very, very yellow. It was very, very yellow. It had a yellow cast, which means I probably confused the exposure meter there with my indoor light. My indoor light is very, very warm, and I couldn't balance the exposure to get the correct colors from my client here. But since I shot it raw, that's no longer an issue. It corrected all of that almost seamlessly, perfect for my eyes. My eyes can't tell the difference. It looks perfect. And that's awesome. That is completely awesome. All right. All right, looking good, looking good. I like the way this is coming out. This is what I'm used to, taking something relatively close, if not a third or 2/3 of a stop off. I can bring it back to this prime. It's awesome. It's really, really close. Now when I look at the JPEG, I still got the yellow stuff going on, and as I bring up the exposure, it's just like what? Yeah, so it looks like it's punchy in one area. I think I'm lacking some contrast here. And this is the portrait profile. So, it's got the yellows that won't quit. And, Canon likes yellows and reds. So, it's hard for me to get that back. But as I correct here for the white balance on the eye, it's just it's giving me this lightish reddish hue. It looks like I got some noise there that I can't get out. I am really wiggling these sliders, and I am not getting as much movement and result as I did before. So with that being said, this image is not something that I want to send off. If I do send it off, it's as a last resort to my client. It looks like he may not like that one. So we're going to get to the last one, which is 3 stops overexposed. And wow, this is hard to even maintain your eyes on. But we're looking at it. And yeah, this is hard to even look at, guys. But we're looking at it here, and it looks like the yellow, I don't even see like information that's so overexposed. And the hair and anything like I can't see any of that. And as we bring it back, we're just getting just colors that are just blending together now. It's not even worth even with the raw file. The raw file is like, I don't really want to try. I really don't want to try. Like burning, just burning all the information off. Like everything is overexposed, and it doesn't even look like with the raw file that we can get it back. We're just clowning with the sliders now. We're just playing with stuff just to see what's going to happen, and it just seems like all our efforts are in vain, especially over there by the neck area and the chest area on camera right. It's just like it's gone. It is totally gone, and there's no way you can bring that back. And we're just looking at light right now. Color is not too bad. It's bad, but only in the overexposed spots. In the underexposed spots, it looks like you can actually get something out of it. But with that being said, the side that's closest to the light that got overexposed, it does not want to even give you a handshake. It's not even trying, So with that being said, I don't like the fact that the overexposed side is not cooperating with me. I don't like that at all. It's, if this was your client, he'd be very mad at you if he saw these 3-stop overexposed images that you tried to bring back in Photoshop and they look like this as a finishing result. And the JPEG, don't even get me started. The JPEG is so overexposed that I can't even see who he is anymore, or what he is, or if that's even a person at this point. It's almost just like I don't even know how to explain it. And we're definitely not getting back nothing with the JPEG. Nothing. It kind of makes it like a artistic effect, the whole image, but you shouldn't. If you're trying to get the image how it's supposed to be seen, don't. This is just. I don't even want to do this anymore. It's just. This is just an example, guys. I don't even want to be here anymore. I'm scared. Oh no, this is not even remotely fun to watch. I'm sorry I put you guys through that. But with that being said, it looks like at the end of the day, the winner would be the image that's raw. What we learned today is essentially raw is better than JPEG as long as you can get your exposure decent, close to evenly exposed. It doesn't have to be perfect, but 3 stops under or overexposed is way too off. You got to come close for the raw file to actually be as accurate as you can possibly get it. One of the things that we also learned is if you underexpose the image by 3 stops, you can pretty much bring it back to life in post. But if you overexpose it by 3 stops, you're going to have a whole bunch more troubles bringing that back, even if it's a raw file. We're not even getting into color grading and editing JPEGs. Like, JPEGs didn't give us nothing today. Like, JPEGs, you don't even want to walk out. You don't even want to tell somebody you took that picture. That's how bad the JPEGs were. But the RAWs also have their limits too. And if you underexpose the images, it's not as bad as if you overexpose the images. So now we learned that err on the side of caution. It's better to shoot and underexpose your images and then bring them back up and post later than to overexpose your images and be dead. You want to be able to put RAW into your workflow. So work on it. Get Lightroom, which is like a $70 or $80 program, or the way Adobe has it now, you do the little payment program. Or get a free software, download Capture One as a demo if you have an important gig and you don't want to download any, software. Just get something cheap or free or whatever. But this is extremely important nowadays. Why? Because we're competing against cell phones. And cell phones have some of the best auto exposure systems on the planet. Why? Because it has nothing else. It has no RAW. It has no extra color grading you can fall back on and get the most potential out of it. No. That's all it has. So software engineers have manufactured auto exposure systems for cell phones now that are just second to none. So with all that being said, incorporate RAW into your workflow and get all the money your camera's worth out of it.